congressional funnel for nonprofits and social impact or justice organizations. My name is George Weiner, the chief whaler of Whole Whale. This is Moby. He's just here. There are more ways than ever to contact our representatives in Congress. Thanks to technology, we can tweet, Facebook message, comments on YouTube, tag on Instagram, call even without a phone, fax even without a fax machine, and even hail a Lyft to Capitol Hill to be there in person. If history is any indicator, this increase in communication platforms with access to Congress will continue to increase. At Whole Whale, we work with nonprofits and social impact organizations using the marketing funnel to model and measure supporter engagement at 4 levels: awareness, interest, engagement, and action. In this measuring impact funnel, this allows us to track desired outcomes at micro levels and also segment different actions based on what level of engagement they demonstrate. A user, for instance, who spends 5 minutes on an organization's website is great, but that action is less important than a user who signs up for that same organization's email list. And none of this matters if those email subscribers aren't converting into donors or, volunteers or actors. Using this framework, we can also segment out audiences and create specific goals for how we track engagement with our cause or organizational mission and vision. This has more increasingly begun to include the congressional engagement. Here's a look at how we can measure nonprofit effectiveness on the Hill, how contacting Congress works. As the New Yorker wrote in 2017, the first telephone was installed in Capitol Hill in 1880 and was actually reluctantly answered by the House doorkeeper. There are thousands of staffers in charge of listening to and logging messages/complaints from constituents. Contacting Congress in the 21st century is more decentralized, with what the New Yorker describes as 535 small businesses that together form a legislative arm of government. As such, their way of dealing with constituents can differ as much as their politics. What has been standardized, however, is how each small business handles a constituent relationship. All messages that come in for representatives are collected into a constituent management system. As of 2018, 97% of representatives on the Hill are on Facebook and 100% Twitter, with other platforms like Instagram steadily rising according to research by the LBJ School of Public Affairs at the University of Texas at Austin. How messages are measured and managed, we can learn a lot from the tools used by these officials to monitor messages. For instance, if an alien were trying to figure out how people use cars only based on the dashboard, they would see that humans in cars care about their current speed, miles per hour, the stress on the vehicle, RPM, and how far they could go, the gas gauge. Using this logical approach, these are actual screen grabs from intranet quorum. Social media screenshots show that staffers are looking at volume of messaging over time and can connect social profiles to constituent records. The latter is particularly important as congressional staffers often acknowledge that they selectively ignore social media messaging because it's too hard to discern constituents from non-constituents. This absence of guardrails became especially pertinent in the November 2016 election cycle following the results of the US presidential election. As former staffer Emily Ellsworth Holman wrote aptly enough on Twitter, quote, "Evidence on the other side of the proverbial aisle, however, suggests that this is not always the case. According to 2015 research published by Congress Management Foundation, 80% of the 200 participating senior congressional staffers said that 30 or fewer responses to a representative's social media posts are enough to get their office to pay attention." Wow. The survey also indicates that staff tend to review only those reactions posted within the first 24 hours. The CMF research also indicated that representatives were swayed more by personalized emails, letters, and editorials in local newspapers more than the telephone calls. The takeaway: if you've seen how one representative handles the voice of constituents, you've seen how one representative handles the voice of constituents. What matters to a senator's office in New York may not be the same for House members in Minnesota. Thanks for watching Whole Whale TV. More episodes like this episode right there. And by the way, you can subscribe so you get all the newest videos that we were releasing regularly.